Welcome back to another video. It is a bit late in the day when I'm recording this, so sorry if it's a bit dark, but this is another what I eat in a day video as a whole food plant-based vegan, oil-free on the Starch Solution. So these videos, these recipes at the moment are all focused in on weight loss, really thinking about high nutrients but low calorie foods, allowing us to eat in abundance, not worrying about portions and calories, making sure that we're getting full and satisfied and that our body is receiving lots and lots of good energy and good nutrients. I hope you guys enjoy trying them and making them just as much as I did. And today's breakfast, we started with some cake. Today I made a mug cake with some sprouts on the side. So I put my sprouts into my steamer. They take about 10 minutes. I'm going to start by making some oat flour. I'm going to take a can of peaches and drain them, keeping a little bit of the juice. Now I'm going to blend those. We're going to weigh about 35 grams. Roughly. Half a teaspoon. 2 tablespoons of date syrup. And 2 tablespoons of the peach puree. And then you can just mix this together. So everything's combined. Stir in any frozen fruit. I've used blueberries today. And then you want to grab a little mug if you have one that's microwavable, or any small little microwavable bowl, and put all of your mixture, it's basically like a little cake mixture, into your bowl or your mug. That goes in the microwave for 2 to 3 minutes, depending on the power of your microwave. So with all of the rest of the puree, you can just keep that in a jar for another recipe, another day. Same with the oat flour. So you can just make enough oat flour if you're going to do this regularly to have a few different times. So that was it. Breakfast was ready. I had my coffee with my cocoa milk. Juice from the peaches went on the top, which gave it a lovely moisture. I added some fresh raspberries because that's what I had, and it was amazing. And the sprouts were ready, so I had those with nutritional yeast and black pepper and a little sprinkling of salt. And really this mug cake was very, very good. It was like having proper cake for breakfast. I don't know if you should have this every day, I'm not sure, but once in a while it's a really nice little treat. It was delicious. It was like Black Forest Gatto. Today I'm going to make a tray bake with sweet potatoes, squash. This is called a queen squash. Look at the size of this guy. Ooh, massive. So potatoes, squash, some courgette, zucchini in America, pepper, and some carrots as well. So I'm going to chop these up into kind of bite-sized pieces, which will take a while. And then I'm going to put them onto a big tray, one tray, season them, bake them, add a dressing, and we're done. So to start with, I'm going to wash everything because I'm not going to peel any of these veggies. I'm going to eat the skins on all of them. So everything needs to be washed and scrubbed before I start chopping. So I'm going to cook the stronger, more starchy vegetables first. So let's just do some seasoning. So I'm going to start with a load of maple syrup. That will help the seasonings to stick and give it a nice sweetness. I've got some garlic powder and onion granules. Onion powder is the same, I think. Lots of that on there. Some salt. Cracked black pepper. Then I'm just going to mix it up. Some smoked paprika. Into the oven. So now I added the non-starchy vegetables and gave that a mix through. Put this back into the oven. And after another 15 minutes, it definitely was cooked through. I mixed it, I checked it with a knife, everything was cooked, but I really like my tray bakes quite well done. So as you can see, after another 15 minutes, they've started to catch and get that kind of little brown charcoaly bits, and that's how I like my veggies. So I made a simple maple syrup and Dijon mustard dressing, just kind of 1 part to 1 part. And I chopped up a whole cos lettuce, and then I just served it like that. So I had about half of this tray bake, drizzled on the dressing, and that was how I had the lunch. It was amazing. I thought I'd show you how I adapted this for my son. So he had his with mashed potatoes, a vegan goujon, and then the roasted vegetables. If you've been watching me for a while, you will see through the weeks that I make lots and lots of food when I cook. I don't just make one meal on one day. I would be in the kitchen so much, and although it might appear that I am, I really am not. I cook in bulk, I batch, I think ahead when I'm shopping, when I'm planning, when I'm prepping. And if you'd like to know more about how I do that and how I make that work, then please do watch my video called Meal Planning, and that will be linked in the cards above and also down in the description. Dinner today is portobello mushroom and a bean bake. I took 4 large portobello mushrooms and took the caps off those and just made sure that they would sit nicely on the tray. Got some balsamic glaze, and I just covered those with a little brushing of the balsamic. Then that goes into the oven. Then you can make your filling. So I used 1 red onion, chopped it quite finely, a clove of garlic, and the rest of those mushroom caps. That all goes into a medium-high pan, and you can start to cook that with a little water. After about 15 minutes, that will be cooked nicely, and then I added in a teaspoon of mixed herbs and a couple of handfuls of spinach. And I also used the juice that were coming out of the mushroom as the liquid to cook this down. Now I took the mushrooms, I turned them over and I put them into an oven-proof dish. I grabbed a can of cannellini beans and added that to the mixture. I added some of the oat flour from this morning and some nutritional yeast. Mix that all the way through. And that was the topping of the mushrooms. So that all goes on the top there. I added another sprinkling of nutritional yeast to give it a kind of crunchy top, and also add a bit more B12, some extra black pepper, and now that can go back into the oven. This made a really tasty, lovely bean bake, really good. Well, recommend it. So I washed some spinach and I had that with the bean bake. I also cooked some bulgur, that's one of my favourite grains, so that's how I had the meal. If you've enjoyed my content today, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. I know lots and lots of you watch my videos but haven't yet subscribed. It really would help to push this content out further and help other people realise that eating whole food, plant-based, eating for nutrition is the way forward. I will see you guys next week. Bye!